Welcome to Human Athlete. How are you? I'm so thrilled to see you. I hope you're well. How's your week going? I hope you are good here and you are good here. We have more people who came into the human athlete community, and I really don't know what to say. I'm humble. I am Coach S. I am a 14-year multi-sport athletic coach, predominantly 8 years overall coaching football, 7 years coaching lacrosse. And so coaching has always been an absolute passion of mine. I love sports. I love being an athlete lifelong. And so I present to you that experience along with my master's degree in applied sports sciences that reaches the entire spectrum of everything from pediatric to adolescent to young adult sports. So that's the spectrum from youth sports all the way up to the collegiate level. And I'm thrilled you're here, and I'm absolutely humbled. So thank you for being here. Time is the most valuable thing we have in our lives, and I am thrilled to be able to exchange that value with you. Absolutely. Whenever I'm deciding on what to share and talk to you guys about, I try not to force any choice unless I believe that it's important, right? It's kind of like 50% impulse and 50% thoughtfulness. If something really comes up in the sports world that I feel is really, impactful or important, like, I try to keep that non-rigidity to what we'll discuss, unless I feel is really important. So it's kind of an imperfect science. That being said, I was rereading some research on why a shocking number of coaches are unqualified to be a coach. And it stoked a lot of coals for me. It irritated me. And for many reasons related to experiential coaches and how much I identified with the research. And so this leads to the term joysticking coaches. Let's scale back just a pinch. What is joysticking? Well, think of playing a video game, right? And not controlling the joystick. What happens? Your player, right, will do whatever the computer wants them to do or whatever they want to do, right? And you don't have any control over them. Make sense? Coaches make certain that they control that joystick, and the athletes are that player. In other words, coaches are yelling from the sidelines specific techniques, tactics, whatever relatable to their athletes during games. Often is that the athlete becomes uncertain about what they're supposed to do in a game and they start to second guess themselves, or they're not being allowed to develop decision-making skills, which opportunity to do that during games, as we know, as coaches, and I'm sure observationally, is fleeting and happens fast. Is that sensible? Are athletes using their own brains? Are you actively, as a coach, developing your athletes? And even if they win the game, right? Did they win the game? Did the athletes win the game? Or did the coach? Athletes need to develop who they are on the playing field as equally as they are off the playing field. And this ties in for the ever loving, ever historical opportunity for explicit life skills, touch points, conversations coach to athlete related to decision making. Also, this is where youth development is generally in need of a healthy and dynamic amount of experimentation, right? Let them make the mistakes coming from their decisions in a game. Does that win the game? Does that lose the game? I will tell you, in my humble experience of 14 years in the multitude of sports I coached, including, again, girls basketball, boys football, boys lacrosse, across the board, my studies at a very high level. Like, there is nothing more impactful than watching an athlete make a decision and then have that decision happen to be the right one. There's no value that you can place on that. It is impactful beyond anything a coach can do. Also, remember, and in this mishmash of development, like, what works for one athlete doesn't mean it works for another athlete, coaches, right? And that's called degeneracy, which we can get to. Maybe that'll be our next conversation. All of this, right? What is the challenge of all of this? In our win first American culture, we can't get sick of winning, even when winning carries way less lessons than winning does. Say that fast twice. I'll say it again. In our win first American culture, we cannot get sick of winning, even when the winning carries less lessons than the winning does. And experiential coaches, general statement, ain't about to hang their loss on their records or their resume when they themselves can win that game and circumvent the athlete's holistic development. Not going to happen. No teachable moments, no golden opportunities for a teachable moment is given to the athletes. And hey, parents, we're not innocent either. As an 8-year-ish recovering joystick parent, thank God, we're not innocent either. But remember, in our win first over everything cultural attitude, right? All is right with the world when we win, right? When the Seahawks win, locally when the Bears win, whoever that may be, right? Michigan State wins. Winning over development, right? High scores over development. High test scores over development. High test scores over everything. ACT, SAT, prep, PACT, PSAT, scores over everything. Scores over everything. Scores over development. But I digress. That's the problematic mindset in this equation that we have to deal with. And a lot of it's primarily tied to the United States. All right, our culture. So, okay, let's deal with this, right? Other concerns from joysticking coaches that are getting in the way of athletic development, true athletic development, holistic athletic development. Joysticking stifles the decision making for the players, right? They become reliant on the coach to get instructions rather than think for themselves and make those decisions for themselves and learn from their own judgment. It prevents learning from mistakes, right? Every pencil has an eraser. That's what I tell my little boy. Dude, mistakes. No, let's learn from it, right? It removes the opportunity for players to learn how to correct their own errors. I've always said to my defensive backs for football, what happened there? They would tell me. They knew that I was asking because I wasn't out there with them. I'm standing over there. I see what I see, but that's not what they see. What happened out there? They tell me, and I'm like, okay, let's go back out there and correct that mistake. Go get it back. Right? And that's just an example. But also, other outcomes. It reduces enjoyment. I'm going to say this because it's common, but it's absolutely statistically consistent. If sports ain't fun, kids won't play. Through this day, there is incremental fluctuation in this number. 72%. 72% of athletes quit sports altogether by the age of 13 to 15 when they're involved in sports from earlier ages. All right? That number doesn't fluctuate much. And if it's not fun, kids quit. Also, it causes confusion, right? Joysticking coaches and joysticking athletes, players can become so focused on listening to the coach that then they have trouble focusing on the game. Then there's more mistakes. So coaches and parents, joystickers, how do you change your habits? Well, focus on the encouragement part, right? Instead of yelling instructions, yell encouragement. Even if it's vanilla as, come on, let's go. Whatever. You know what to do. Allow for independent, autonomous play, right? Let players figure out who they are and what they do on their own, in a team, in a game, on the field, court, pitch, wherever it is, right? And celebrate them when they make those right decisions and they figure those things out. Again, I can't say this enough. Keep it fun. Okay? Incrementally doesn't change. 72% of all athletes quit sports altogether by the age of 13 to 15 when they've been involved in sports from early ages, or they decide, and is usually a combination of, sports is not fun anymore. If it's not fun, they're not involved. Professional athletes say the same thing. Well, I got involved in the sport as a kid because it was fun. Yeah? Yeah? Take that fun out. Find out what you got. Be calm. Be calm. Don't be the chaos. Okay? Support your youth, your child athlete, and let them play without the pressure, the constant pressure of the loud instructions from the coach, then the mom and dad, then the coach, then the dad and mom, then the coach. They're getting instructions from every single sideline they have. Okay? Take it from someone who is a dedicated, passionate, dyed-in-the-wool transformational coach. I graduated toward the top of my class, right? I'm also a transformational parent. Yeah. A transformational coach and parent. Trust me when I tell you this. Ready? You got this. Let's go. Human athlete. You cannot be one. You must be both.
Everybody wants this. Everybody wants this.